Can you imagine moving out of your great big house and living in a travel trailer with 8 kids and 6 puppies? This is the RV Life Podcast. I'm Dan Hunt with my incredible wife, Patty Hunt. She's right next to me over there. Today's guests are doing just that. Get this, guys. 2 adults, 8 kids, a dog, and the dog's 6 puppies in a travel trailer that's less than 500 square feet. It sounds absolutely insane to Dan, but, I live by a different reality.
Dan and I are very excited, as you can hear. And we certainly understand the concept of a large family. We have 5 kids, 4 are married. So 9 kids and 9 grandkids, and all of them, including my brother, brother-in-law, and sister, will be with us this week here in Disney. So we get the large family. Now, we have been traveling full time in our RV for almost 3 years, and it's without any kids or any pets. So I wonder what it would be like if we had gone on the road with kids or pets. Very different, I'm sure.
I'll tell you what, I have a rule, and this rule works very, very well for me anyway. 6 for drinks, 4 for dinner, and 2 to sleep. And that's the way we have a 40-foot Class A RV, and that's the way we live our life. So I don't even like the grandkids coming in because they start pushing buttons and next thing you know, we're rolling down the road.
I'm going to squelch it. I can't wait to have the grandkids come in and stay with us. And I think it'll be awesome.
Okay, that sound means it's time for today's Fun Fact of the Week. Fun Fact is brought to you by Open Road Resorts with 4 great locations. 2 are in Montana, 1 in Idaho, and 1 in Texas. We were just at the Texas facility. Absolutely incredible. It's called the Dallas Northeast Campground, or Dallas NE Campground. Yes. And I got to tell you, just beautiful. Our camping spot, we were nose into a lake and we looked out over that lake and the sunset came down. It was absolutely beautiful.
And that campground, they have thought of everything. It is beautifully manicured, the amenities, what it is close to. I just can't wait to get back there, as well as see those other locations this summer. Can't wait to get there. Now.
Okay.
So
let's get to the fun fact.
It's a fun fact. A recent progressive.com survey, and they have a lot of great information, but what we were looking for is how many full or part-timers actually travel with kids. And that number is a whopping 77%. Wow. We're in the minority by far.
By far.
Not the people we have on, but you and I are in the minority.
But I'm old. I don't need a bunch of kids coming around and yelling and screaming and hollering.
You sound like Scrooge over there.
Humbug.
You love kids and puppies, so I don't know about that. And we are going to put pictures of the puppies up because they are adorable.
I'll tell you what, I love these puppies. They are absolutely incredible.
I cannot have one.
I want one.
Nope.
I want one. But they're so cute.
I hear you, buddy.
Now you guys can see how cute they are over on our Instagram page.
When we get that
put up, we'll get it put up. We got a great picture of the whole family, the 2 of you, the 8 kids, the 6 puppies, and a partridge in a pear tree.
Yeah.
It was just absolutely incredible. This is the RV Life Podcast. I'm Dan Hunt with my incredible wife, Patty Hunt. Our guest today's met 20 years ago while working as chefs in a Michelin-starred restaurant. Ooh la la. They're bigwigs. Andre continued his career as an executive chef, and Andrea stayed home to raise their, oh my God, football team of children. They dreamed of the RV life and full-time travel, but it took them years to figure out how to create an online brand and income from it. But they did it, and that's why they're on the RV Life podcast today. It's been 2 years since Andre quit his job. They sold their house and began their full-time adventure. And what an adventure it is with their 7, now 8 children and their loyal dog. I don't know how you say this. Jump in for me, Andre. How do you say this dog's name? Freya? Freya. Okay, Patty, go ahead.
So we're talking about Andre and Andrea Ebert of Freeway Tribe. That's their channel. Welcome, guys, to the RV Life podcast.
Hey,
it's so great to be here.
Yes, I'm so grateful. Thank you for being on with us. So we're going to jump in because I know our listeners have a lot of questions, and we're going to try and get those answered today. Let's start. How did the conversation to go full-time RV life, in this RV life, how did that conversation start between the two of you?
I think it started a long time ago because I married a man that I love with all my heart. It took a lot to be together because Andre's from Germany and we had to do the green card. And then we were finally married and the man went to work all day long, 6 days a week, 12 hours a day. And I just remember thinking there's got to be a better way to life. This isn't that fairy tale story that you get married and live happily ever after. It's like you get married and you never see your spouse, And so I just remember looking at YouTube and just watching people live in Costa Rica before the RV life came onto our radar. I just would watch people just live this life. And I remember thinking, gosh, if we could just make $1,000 somehow, some way, and just live on the beach and be together in Costa Rica. That's all I wanted. And then fast forward years later of always kind of having this in my mind of this deep desire, but not understanding how to transition from, working like we do in a restaurant, very brick and mortar, very you must be there in person, to working online and somehow being able to live remotely. I didn't understand what kind of skills we needed. I didn't understand if we needed to go to school. I didn't understand if we had to be rocket scientists or what. And then Andre actually Andre, you kind of had the vision for RV life.
I think we both, we have been talking about this before and we can't narrow down to when we decided, okay, we really want to do this. I think it took us some time and I was thinking as well, okay, how do we have the income in order to get on the road and to sustain a life on the road? But the dream was there, I think pretty early. Traveling the United States and pretty much showing our children the United States. That was the whole idea.
Wow, that's such an amazing, touching story. I mean, I'm over here and for our listeners, there is a camera so Dan could see them. I'm over here, getting chills listening to your story. And I think your story is so huge for so many. That idea you said, there's got to be a better way. So that idea of the grind and working to spend, a couple hours with the kids before you go to bed, they go to bed and then wait till you're whatever age to retire. And I know the four of us talked about this previously of that's not the way. So now you have the RV lifestyle, you're full time. I'm going to ask now, what's the dream moving from here? You said there's this dream, and I believe as we dream and we achieve some of those things, there's the next thing we dream of. So is there a next thought for the dream?
We're constant dreamers, and I think everyone should be a dreamer. I really think so. We live so small because we limit ourselves to what we can achieve. But Andre and I, we always have a vision for our life now. And so the first initial vision was, let's get on the road. Let's be free. Andre, initially, before he met me, he wanted to travel the world, and then life happened, and then he got sucked into work. Mm-hmm. With that being said, we've been traveling 2 years now. Our oldest son is 15. He'll be 16 in actually leap year. He'll be 16 on leap year. And we're just okay, so we want to have stability. We want to have a home life, right, for the kids, but we always want to be able to leave. So what Andre and I are actually currently looking for is our eyes are open for land. We want to own at least 100 acres of good land. And we're kind of open. So we're it doesn't matter where it is. We're thinking Virginia, but it's honestly wherever God shows us like the best deal, where he wants us to be ultimately.
That's also one reason why we started this journey. We wanted to find out, we wanted to go travel and see where we may fit in, where our home might be eventually. Yes.
And it just actually makes it more confusing. The more we travel, the more confused we are, because we're like, we love Arizona, but we also love, Idaho, Florida, but we also love Hill Country, Texas, but we also love, So we do want land. We want to build a barn dominion, but we want to be able to run away and be able to
leave everything
behind. And again, that's the beauty of creating an online income. You can do that. The world is kind of your oyster. You can kind of design your life. So you still work, but you do it within the context of the way you want to live. We call it lifestyle design.
Well, now Patty's brother lives in, where is it? Manassas, Virginia. So you could buy 100 acres in Manassas, Virginia, put a extra pad there with a electric and some sewer service in there. And then we'll come and stay there every once in a while we visit our brother.
Absolutely. We would definitely have a hookup for an RV. We will definitely have a hookup for an RV, maybe even several.
But it won't be a Manassas. we probably need to have Bill Gates money to buy 100 acres in Manassas.
Absolutely true. That is true.
That's an expensive area. RVers we don't want to be I don't know we run into so many people who are just a different breed of people on the road. They just want to do life differently, and they want to unplug from what I call the matrix out there, the world, that cookie cutter world that we all get put into, we all get sucked into. So I think that land that we get is going to not be in Manassas. It's probably going to be in the boonies.
Yeah. We were at that campground in Manassas, not in Manassas, in Virginia, mid Virginia. We were at a campground, and there was 150 acre horse farm.
Oh, wow.
That was for sale. And it was beautiful. I had a paddock around the outside. I walked into this place, and you know me, I just drove right up to the place and said, wow, this is incredible. And the barn there, I just looked at it and said, wow, this would be a great restaurant. So, we can get some of those stars and put them on the top of it, the Texas stars.
Yes.
So they look like the Michelin stars. Okay. So let's get back to what you guys are doing right now. What type of rig do you guys call home right now? Let's talk about your rig.
Yes, we're traveling in a Forest River Surveyor Legend travel trailer. We have a bunk room for the children where 5 of our children can easily sleep. We've got a dinette, we've got a kitchen like the usual, and then we've got 2 bathrooms. One is a full-size bathroom, a small full-size bathroom, and the other one is just the toilet. And then we have our bedroom, a queen-size bedroom.
Queen-size bed.
Queen-size bed, yes.
Now I do hear children in the background.
There is a baby, yes. Our baby Hannah just woke up.
Totally okay. Somebody doesn't sound happy, but this is part of our life. How big is the RV, is the rig?
She heard there was a podcast and she wanted to be on it.
Okay. Well, we are happy to hear from her.
Our rig is 37 feet long from hitch to bumper.
Okay.
From hitch to bumper, 37 feet.
Yes.
I was going to say, we love those fifth wheels. We've seen the fifth wheels and we're like, oh man, a toy hauler would be our creme de la creme. Yeah. But then for us, it's 8 kids. Most people have those things and, they can fit 3 kids, sometimes 4 in a truck. And when you have 8 kids, you're kind of limited unless you want to bring 2 cars. Mm-hmm. And with the price of gas the last 2 years, it's coming down. But we were like, okay.
Let's talk about your driving scenario with 10 people.
Well, wait, I want to back up 1 second because we're hearing the baby. Can you tell us the ages? I want people to really be able to wrap their head around. So what are the ages of the 8 kids? And then you can answer Dan's question.
So we had one baby born on the road, which is Hannah, who just woke up. She's now 6 months old. Then we have Bodhi, who is 2. We have Romy, who is 4. We have Pauline, who is 6. We have, who's next?
Josephine is 7. Max is 9. Sebastian is Just turned 13, and Noah is 15.
15, yes.
Okay. So I'd just like to give our listeners like a real, so you have 15 almost down to a 6-month-old baby.
Yes.
You live in a 37-foot travel trailer. So many
Yes.
questions here. So Dan wanted to know, you wanted to know, Dan, how they do the travel part, right? Like what?
Right. Let's talk about travel days and what you use as a vehicle.
We are driving a Chevy Express 15-seater passenger van. It's got the 6-liter V8 engine, gas engine. There's no strong enough diesel engine around. They make it to a 2.8 liter, but that's not strong enough to pull our trailer. So we've been traveling with that. Our thing is we want to stay out of the mountains. If it goes up or down too steep, then the van has some problems. It's too much strain.
We've been in some scary situations in like Yosemite.
Yes, where we didn't even know whether we could turn around. And we were going up windy roads, and yes,
we've been there. We've been there. We're a 40-foot Class A, and we tow a Jeep, so we're about 55 feet long. If we get in a situation where we're turning around and we can't make the turn, you got to take the tow car off.
But
we've had to do that several times.
At least you have that opportunity. We can't do that.
Well, we've taken the van off. I think there's been times where we unhitched the van and we're like, okay, we're going to do this alone. Back it up. Try it again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's something
but with a van like that, you couldn't even do a fifth wheel. And I don't know that there's a vehicle out there that's going to hold the 10 bodies that you could do a fifth wheel. Unless Ford comes up with a truck that has a
well, here's
more
the
seats.
thing. We are going to be
maybe one of those semi trucks. Maybe they would work.
Right. Well, we're going to be at the Tampa RV show in January, and we will find this out for you if there is a setup that works for you guys. So we'll do.
You know what? For what we have, I mean, we're 2 years into our RV life, and I'll tell you what, we never were in an RV ever before we went full time. Like we never had an RV or anything.
Was, yeah.
And the thing is, we didn't have the time. Like I would look at people before in his old career and I would be like, how do you guys have time to take vacation? How do you have time to, go anywhere? And so we went like full into this RV life, but for what we chose, we're really happy, aren't we, Andre? Like,
right, absolutely.
This has been a great little RV for us. Somehow it fits, somehow it works, somehow it's held up. We did like an RV walkthrough tour on our YouTube channel, but actually we need to update it because we made a lot of changes just since having the new baby, like trying to figure out where to put her things and where she's going to be and kind of the little shuffle that we have to do and all the little makeshift things. So we have to do an updated video on that.
Plus, also, this is not going to be a permanent situation for us. We know what we want. Our next step is going to be the land we bought, like a small homestead that we want to start. And this is not permanent. So we're going to do this maybe 2 more years or so.
Full time.
And after that, we're going to settle down and then we can look at anything. Then Noah is going to be old enough that he may want to go to work and, get out. And so we'll see what's going to happen.
But it's funny. You think this satiates you? You think that getting on the road will we'll do that. Initially we said 1 year and then it was like 2. Now we say 3. Now we're like probably 4. And then it never satiates you. You're like, now we're going to go RV in New Zealand. And then we're going to go RV in Europe and see what that's like. And then we're going to go, it's just like this wanderlust. It's like,
it's the same thing for us. It's almost addictive. Like when we started, I'm like exactly like you. I had never really gone RVing. We sold everything. We said, okay, let's jump. Had no idea what we were jumping into, really. We ended up getting this RV. So we're with you on that. And, whenever we're led to where we want to go next, that's what we'll do. So if somebody asks, how long will you be on the road? I have no idea, but I'm addicted to it. And let me ask a question first, because we do want to talk about some of the challenges that tend to come up. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. But I know people are asking, in a 37-foot travel trailer, where does everybody sleep?
Okay, let's do it. Okay, so we have the bunkhouse. The bunkhouse is what we're really, really happy with. So the bunkhouse has very wide beds. So on the one side, our 15-year-old has his own bed. Above him, our 13-year-old has his own bed. And then on the other side, there's 2 more like very wide beds for an RV. And so our 9-year-old son has his own bed on the top bunk. He tends to sleep alone. And then the 2 girls sleep on the second bed. So our 7-year-old and our 6-year-old share a bed. They're really tiny. And then we have a little pull-out couch where our 2-year-old sleeps with our 4-year-old in the center area. And then we have the baby sleeps with us, which isn't ideal. We don't sleep very well. And I'll tell you what, that's been a struggle. Is I have 8 kids. So we've always had really good sleepers. I've always had that kind of down. I have not figured out how to get the babies on a good sleep schedule. So if anyone knows that, like, comment, put it up, message me. Our RV babies are the worst. I mean, I'm just happy Hannah had a 20-minute nap right now. She's kind of up. She's kind of used to feeling me because we're always close together. So if I get up, she feels that I'm not there and she wakes up really quick. And our other son, who was about 6 months when we went on the road, was the exact same way. Mm-hmm. So I feel like the whole first year of their life, I'm not getting very good sleep, but it's a season in life, and I'll take it. They're worth it.
Right. And that is the thing. Dan and I are grandparents of 9 kids, and, we have kids from separate marriages. And I know for me, there were kids that did not sleep, and going through that process, it felt like it was never going to end. And then in a blink of an eye, they're off. They're sleeping all night. You can't get them up in the morning. They're off. They're married. They're having kids of their own. So I agree with you. Yes, you're not getting a whole lot of sleep, but
okay, I've got to step in here.
Time. Okay, you're stepping in.
I've got to jump in here and say, my kids slept through the night every single night. They went to bed at 7. They didn't get up till 7 the next morning.
Okay.
Never had an issue the entire time.
Yes. Remember, have your
nobody tell this man.
Yes. Listen, here's the thing. I have his kid's mother on speed dial. I'm sure she'd be laughing hysterically. So that didn't happen. But
he's delusional. From my perspective, it was a little different.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
Exactly.
I would tell the people listening too is sometimes there's just no ideal time to start an RV life. Ideally, ideally our youngest would be about 4 or 5. I think that's like an ideal time because 4-year-olds are somewhat independent. They're not as emotional as 3, maybe like 5. But we have a big family, and so we're like, you know what? There'll never be a perfect time for us to go. So all the kids can have the experience. So we're just going to start living the adventure now. And I want our whole life to be an adventure. I don't want it to stop. So we'll just roll with the punches. And yeah, it's beautiful. Thank you.
You just go moment to moment. Now, I will say you're saying, maybe waiting till they're 4 or 5. And Dan and I have 3 4-year-old grandkids. 3 of our kids have babies within months of each other. So it's like triplets. And you could, when it comes to kids, every kid is different. Parents are different. There's no one way. People that judge other people are trying to make it look like they know what they're doing. Just not the case. We're doing the best we can. I feel like kids that are raised on the road from a very young age, they learn how to adapt and be on the road. It's a whole different way. It's a whole different lifestyle. And looking at our 9 grandkids and 9 totally different personalities, I think it would have been amazing for some of them, to have grown up on the road. But I am going to put it out there for you. Any of our listeners that have some thoughts and ideas of getting a 6-month-old to sleep and be okay in a travel trailer, reach out on our social media, the RV Life Podcast, Instagram or Facebook. And I'm going to ask you guys, what's your social media if people want to reach out to you?
I'm Andrea Ebert on Facebook. I love Facebook because there's a lot more conversation than Facebook, but we're also the Freeway Tribe on Instagram. And then we have Freeway Tribe YouTube channel. Okay.
And I will put all of that in the show notes for those listening and can't write it down right now. So you can get a hold of, our listeners could get a hold of you guys.
Okay, you guys are both chefs. Now, mornings and evenings when you're doing breakfast and dinner, it's a little different than cooking in a Michelin kitchen. Because as an executive chef, you just stand in the back and yell at everybody. Everybody knows that from watching Gordon Ramsay.
He's actually a really nice chef to work with, Andre. That he's so nice that people would be like, to say how nice he was, and everyone loved working with him. And I would always like, I want to spend more time with him too.
said from his wife, who loves him
true
dearly.
Story.
Okay, so how do you guys feed a really large family? Does one person take control of the kitchen? You know, we had a guest on a couple weeks ago that wrote a cookbook about cooking in small spaces. Very interesting show. And you might want to go back and listen to that one if you're one of our RV Life listeners, because I have found that I went to cooking school. So I have found very difficult to prep in like a 6-inch counter space. Or, you know, my big counter space is when I put the top down over the stove, but I usually need a burner or two. So it's been an adjustment for me.
I feel like we'll divide and conquer. So Andre will do a whole meal himself, and I'll usually do a whole meal myself. Or there's sometimes where we're collaborating, where he's got a few dishes he's doing, I'm working on something. Maybe he's grilling outside and I'm doing the side dishes inside. But we use everything. We use our stovetop a ton. We cook everything from scratch. We use our oven a lot. I know a lot of people don't use their RV oven, but we use that thing a lot.
Who used ours for the first time after 2 years?
Really? Yeah. Every day we're using it. In fact, we've already, warranty has already covered once. We're about ready to get our warranty to cover a second of it because we use it so much. And then we have the grill outside. So usually our meals look like, some kind of protein, whether it's fish or pork or beef or chicken, a lot of chicken. And then we'll do like beans and rice, or we'll do any kind of vegetable. Our kids eat all the vegetables.
Sure they
do. We
we'll
also have a pressure cooker that we sometimes use if we have to go out. We just put food into it, like a stew or so, turn it on. It will hold the food warm for 4 hours. So when we come back home, we've got dinner ready.
If we get back home, we haven't thought of dinner, he'll just put it in the pressure cooker. He'll be like, let's make soup real quick.
Yes.
Give me this. I'm chopping onions. He's doing this. We throw everything in together and you have a beautiful soup in like 30, 40 minutes. It's like, you need a pressure cooker.
Over on our YouTube channel a couple of years ago, we did a comparison from the Ninja Foodie to the Instapot.
Okay.
And the Ninja Foodie won in every one of my categories, every single one of them. And it's one of our more popular videos. So a lot of people, we'll put a link to it in the show notes down below. Okay. But we use the Ninja Foodie, and I just learned how to make meatloaf in that thing. And I love it. It's the best. It is the best quick type dinner. I mean, from frozen hamburger, ground beef, from frozen ground beef to on the table in less than 45 minutes in the Ninja Foodie. I'm like so impressed.
I'm trying to jump in here because now I know our listeners are rolling their eyes. They're feeling a little jealous. You just said that you cook everything from scratch. You're cooking for 10 people, 10 humans.
Don't forget the dogs.
And
they're cute. You can't forget the dogs. They're cute.
Yeah, but
that's
a whole nother story, I'm sure.
You don't cook for the dogs.
Well, they get raw food, a lot of raw food.
Or leftovers.
Oh, okay. So they are getting raw food.
The kids throw the stuff off the table at them.
Okay, so that's amazing. I guess the message here I want our people to know is if you guys could do it, they could do it. Now, do you put any of these recipes or ways that you cook on your YouTube channel? Is that something that you share?
We have a few dishes that we have put in there, but we haven't focused on that. Maybe we should do more.
But we need to, because what I realize is for us, cooking is so easy. Like we go to the grocery store and we don't plan our meals for the week. We just look at like the best quality vegetables. So if the broccoli happens to be beautiful, we buy that. If the asparagus happens to be in season and beautiful, we buy that. Or whatever vegetable, maybe there's a discount vegetable, or you see like a roadside stand with peaches that you get a whole, big barrel, whatever full, right? So our food is always like, what's available, what looks best, what's the best price at the time for the best we can get. And that's what we cook.
That's an amazing tip. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. And then we'll have our starches like rice or quinoa or potato. So we'll just say, okay, we'll do that vegetable and let's do rice, potato, or quinoa today. Quinoa. Okay, let's do quinoa. Okay, let's put some seeds in there. Let's throw a protein at it, or let's just do a one pot stew, or let's just do a pasta. It's kind of like we just play with what we have. But when we go grocery shopping, we're just looking for good ingredients.
Right. And that sounds so light and so easy. And it is one of the big things in the groups that I'm in and comments from our listeners. This is the biggest struggle. So I am going to send people to your YouTube channel, which is Freeway Tribe. And if you don't already have a number of recipes there, I'm going to say, please do it, because what you just said just sounded so easy and so, like but it is a big struggle for people. Now you mentioned,
I think we complicate things a lot.
For sure.
Andre will make focaccia bread in the oven. He made focaccia all the time. He'll make sourdough bread in our RV.
Wow.
Like there's, we do a lot in here, which is surprising.
Do you have a residential refrigerator, or do you still have the RV?
No, we don't. It's a pretty standard RV refrigerator. But we go shopping maybe once a week.
Yes.
And then a big Costco haul maybe twice a week.
You go to the grocery store. I just want to be clear, because that was a question people have been asking. Where do you go grocery shopping? So you go to the grocery store once or twice a week, and Costco every couple of weeks. Yeah,
go to
Costco.
Before we started traveling, we were a Costco family. I mean, I literally sat down at a 7-course Thanksgiving dinner that I made, and I said, look at this. Everything on this table is from Costco, including the salt. But we had space. We lived in a 5,000 square foot house. We could go to Costco and $500 it, once a month, and we'd be set. And Costco, believe it or not, the quality of the Costco food I have found to be very strong almost all the way through. There are a few things that are a little questionable, but all the way through, the quality of Costco food I've found to be very, very good. So where do you put all this stuff? You've got this little teensy refrigerator. You've got not much cabinet space.
So you'll see on the tour, we've done some videos where we show okay, here's our Costco haul. Here's where we put it away. So we put it underneath the pull-out couch and underneath the benches in our dinette. And I'll tell you what, every time we do a Costco run, I'm like, I know we're overweight. We're so overweight.
Especially after the Costco haul, we're overweight, yes.
But we eat it. We eat it really fast. That's the good part.
Yes.
So, usually we store it in the dinette or underneath the
Okay, I'm going to jump in and say, you just brought up the number one issue with RVers is that they're overweight. You just brought that up. Now, we have been teaching this, and we had a guest on, and he said, I'll bet you're overweight. When was the last time you went to one of those cat scales? And I said, I've never gone to one. And he said, you need to go to one now. So we went to one the next time we were on the road and went into those cat scales, and we were good. We were good. We're over $2,000 or 2,000 pounds under. But if you are out there on the road and you do not know your weight, it's only about $18 to get your rig weighed at one of those scales. Be safe out there and don't risk the fine. You don't want to be pulled over for being overweight. Okay, that's my public service announcement for the day.
I will say, it is more intimidating to go on a scale with your RV than to go on a scale after you binged over Christmas. It's just for some reason it's like guilt beyond. You just know. You just oh my gosh.
But that's what we were thinking. We will. Yeah. We were thinking, oh my goodness, we're overweight, and we were 2,000 pounds under. So he may not be. He may be good.
Okay.
But I know Dan's looking to take a break. I'll let you go.
Patty was saying, people must look at you like this is crazy. And I'm like, well, they do. But then I look at them and I'm like, and it's okay because we are. It's all right to look at us like we're crazy because you have to be crazy to do this. And my biggest thing is I just want to live life to the fullest, so even with our puppies, we have this awesome champion bloodline boxer dog, and she's just so beautiful. We've had puppies before because my sister has the stud, and we were back home in Virginia visiting family, and she went into heat, and we were about a week from leaving. So it was just the timing was ideal. And I looked at Andre, he looked at me, and we're like, are we going to do this? And it's insane, but should we? And it's been 2 years since our last litter. And we were just like, you know what? Let's do it. Let's do it. And they're just the most gorgeous puppies. It's been fun. It has they're 4 weeks old now. So it's this is the insane time. This is the part where we're getting up in the middle of the night, twice in the night for them. So right now, this is the moment where we question ourselves, but and I'm sure you guys can relate to this. I found that the best memories are not always from the easiest experiences. It's not when you're on the beach, in Baja, Cabo San Lucas, having a pina colada that's your best memory. Oftentimes it's your best memory is like that really tough hike that you did that you really struggled on, or all the things, going on. I just can think of, having a natural childbirth, something that's not exactly the easiest thing, something that's really hard, something that you question yourself while you're in it, while you're doing it, like, why am I doing this again? But truly, like, your best memories come from oftentimes the hard things that we decide to do.
I also like to say, yes, it's crazy what we're doing, but I feel we're giving our children something that a lot of people can't give their children. Like, they've not only the memories, but they have been to places, they have seen things that a lot of children will never see. Some people don't leave their county or so, and our children have been around the United States.
Or the people we meet. Actually, that I think even more than the places we go, it is the people we meet on the way, on the road. And there's always like the God factor too. Like, why are you in this one spot parked at this other awesome family in this exact spot in this exact time? Mm-hmm. Whether it's boondocking in the middle of nowhere, or if it's like you're in Orlando, Thousand Trails, and it's just your neighbor. It's amazing the people that you connect with on the road. And I just think it's almost like a faith journey, this lifestyle too. It's like you're just kind of living in flow and kind of in a harmony and just kind of seeing like what's meant to be yours or what's meant to come your way. It's beautiful.
Oh, and I agree with you. Definitely. The challenges and absolutely everything you said. It almost sounds like you've been listening to every podcast and you're kind of regurgitating what Dan and I have said.
Yeah, your story and talking to you is so inspiring. It really, really, really makes you want to think. But we do have to take a break. And after the break, we're going to come back and we're going to talk about homeschooling for that 16-year-old, or that 15-year-old. He's not 16 yet.
A lot of them need hope.
A lot of them, yeah. From 7, 8, 13, and 15, yeah.
You got them home.
So homeschooling, we're going to talk about how you school these kids. We're going to talk about a healthy marriage and how you guys approach a healthy marriage in 500 square feet with a football team in there with you. And your name is not Obama or Rockefeller or you said Bill Gates. So how do you afford living on the road with a family of 10 and our 6 little puppies? We're going to get to all of that and more right after this.
Does dropping your motor coach off at the truck stop full of semi-trailers for new tires give you nightmares? Eliminate the unknown and get your new motorhome tires mounted while you watch at your campsite or wherever you are parked. Motorhometires.com takes care of the entire process for you. We come to you with your new tires, mount them, add balance beads, and we even dispose of your old tires. With motorhometires.com, you'll also enjoy great prices and new tires with guaranteed fresh date codes, and enjoy sweet dreams instead of truck stop nightmares with your friends at motorhometires.com.
Protecting your RV investment means being ready for anything. An extended RV warranty from Wholesale Warranties is the best way to make sure that if an RV failure happens, you can afford to get back to enjoying the RV life as soon as possible. RV warranties are available for motorhomes, fifth wheels, and travel trailers, new and used, across the U.S. Visit wholesalewarranties.com for a free personalized RV warranty quote today and hit the road with peace of mind tomorrow.
All right, so you have, it sounds like 6 kids at least that need schooling. So tell our listeners what you're doing, how you're doing it.
Okay, homeschooling. We take our children. So it was hard in the beginning when we were teaching just a few of our children. We had Sebastian and Noah, and then after that, Max, and they all had their own curriculum. So I put our 2 oldest together on one curriculum. And I'm teaching them the math. We follow, what program is that?
Do you know what I would say too, just kind of backing up for the listeners, is a lot of the way we choose to do life is so different from what is out there. Like everything we've kind of been programmed to do, the whole concept is like putting kids in a school for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, putting them only in their peer group is actually antisocial, and it's actually the experiment. Like life and was never meant to be that way. So we have to kind of unprogram our life. And so a lot of what Andre's done, and Andre does a lot of the homeschooling, especially with the older boys, like he'll do the algebra. He wants them to work through difficult things and have that kind of logic. So we have some core things that we do with the kids, but we treat it a lot like the one room schoolroom. And more, I'm sure, a lot of RVers, we really appreciate this concept of unschooling. So we have our formal things that we do a couple hours every day. And then there's so much learning that goes on just in life, in traveling and speaking to people, in family conversations, family dinners, even philosophical conversations, even political conversations that just come up as a family, faith questions that come up as a family. When you read from scripture or you do your prayers together, it's like, it's a way of life, asking questions. Andre speaks to the kids in German. We're kind of a struggling bilingual family. But there's so much learning that happens in life. And sometimes we pause real life learning just because we want to make a grade or we want to check something off the list. And unschooling is also, Einstein said it best. He's like, if we judged every animal by their ability to climb a tree, only the monkey would be the genius, where every single animal has its strength, its skill. And so what we really like to do is kind of foster that. Like if our oldest son just happens to love piano. I don't know why, but he loves piano and he's got like a electric piano that folds up, and he just has taught himself like piano so beautifully. But he's not the strongest reader. He has to work through a lot of math concepts. And then our second son hates the piano, but loves reading. So we kind of like, if they're really good at something, I think there was like a famous entrepreneur was saying, look, if your kid is really good at tennis and really bad at math, usually in the world, we're hiring a math tutor and telling them they can't play tennis until they get the math right. He's like, in this other world, you tell them, all right, let's just get basic math and let's go get a coach to teach you how to do tennis because you're really, really good at this. So it's funny. We have to learn to kind of live life a different way. And that's how we approach our school. And it also takes a lot of pressure off of the parent because there's also this concept that we have to download all this information onto the child. And then it puts a lot of pressure on you as a parent, when in reality, you can't stop a human being from learning. Like all of us learning how to get on a podcast with you today, we were learning, but it's exciting. It's stuff we want to learn, like getting the right microphone. Okay, now we're going to do this. And now we're going to get that. And, all these things. So they're always learning. I will say,
when we got on the phone together, with the four of us got on the phone together, because we like to talk to people before we get on the podcast. And I knew there was going to be so many conversations that would come up. And this is one of them that, we could sit and talk about just homeschooling and our philosophies for a whole hour. So we are going to bring you back on the show, talk more about it. The one thing I'll say about homeschooling, now I was a teacher for 20 years. And, a lot of times people out there that are homeschooling their kids will cringe when they hear that because they think, they're not doing it right. I find a lot of parents that I've talked to are getting flack from other people. So there's either guilt or am I doing it right, questioning themselves. And I will say as a teacher, I think my opinion, right, wrong, I'm willing to hear anybody challenge me. I think what you're doing is amazing, because when we do the number one thing, and that is to get kids to love the idea of learning and allow them to learn the things they love, and it deserves an applause. We are doing what's best for our kids. And so I applaud you guys. And I think people homeschooling, everybody's doing the best they can. There's no perfect way. We are going to bring you guys back on and we can have a conversation just about that. But right now we do have to take that break. And after the break, we're going to talk more about healthy marriage, how to get along in that small space, and how you afford to be on the road, 10 people on the road. Let's talk about how you're affording it right after this break.
The most important part of your RV is the roof. If your roof leaks, your trip and your RV get ruined. You can take it to a dealership or service center to be maintained at their expensive rates. Or you can maintain it yourself over a weekend for a fraction of the cost. Liquid Rubber RV roof products will keep you dry and leak-free. Visit shopliquidrubber.com/RVLife. Use coupon code RVLifePod15 off to save 15%. That's shopliquidrubber.com/RVLife.
National Indoor RV Centers with over 1,000 motorhomes available across multiple locations. National Indoor RV Centers continues to provide an outstanding, hassle-free motorhome ownership experience. National Indoor is the #1 Newmar dealer in the nation and also features brands like Integra, Winnebago, and much more. Visit NIRVC.com and become a part of the National Indoor RV Centers family.
Now, since I recorded that commercial, NIRVC has become the #1 Integra dealer as well.
And when they talk about family, Dan and I have not yet bought our next RV. It is definitely conversation. And, my goal is to have a new RV in 2024. And National Indoor RV Centers is definitely where we are going to buy our next Class A motorhome, because they do treat you like family and they have integrity and they're just amazing people. We can't say enough about them.
Yes, Brett Davis, the owner, he sets an example from the top. And I mean, this guy is one of the most amazing human beings that I have ever met. He knows how to lead. He knows how to run a company, and he understands the math of running a company. Yes. I will tell you, after what you said, I believe personally that math is probably the most important thing that we can do, because everything is math. From cooking to measuring things out, the math of what goes in this and what goes in that, to radio is all math. The radio waves are all based on math. Life is about math. And I think that is one of the most important things that we can get out there and doing it.
And now, I think in a let's talk relationship. I think that's the most important thing in living in an RV.
Okay. We promised talking about a healthy marriage, but
yes. So Dan and I live in a 40-foot RV, and we're trying to navigate relationship living here. We actually did a podcast on how to live in a less than 400 square feet of space and not kill each other. That was one of our earlier podcasts, and some great advice on how to get along. What is your guys' secret to a good and healthy marriage?
Get outside. Don't be inside. You've got all the place in the world, all the space in the world. And that's what we try to do with our children. 10 people, we would live in this RV all day. I think we would kill each other too. But we try to go on hikes. We try to be outside. A lot of the campsites have got programs for the children. We can go take the children to. We need our alone time where we all can do our work, and we share that. We figure that out. And we follow the nice weather so we can be outside.
But I will say also, I love that, Andre, because Andre always tells people, he's like, well, we don't always live inside. Right. That's why we can do this. Like, we're outside. So that's really important. But also there's grace, like every single day you go to bed and you're like, you have to kind of do that little examination where you're like, I'm going to do better tomorrow. I'm not going to snap tomorrow. And also you have to kind of like deprogram from that busy world out there that we're programmed to be stressed. We're programmed to always have a problem. And you actually have to intentionally live life like, I'm going to let it go. I'm going to stay in flow. I don't need to fight about this. Pick your battles and forgive and get on and do better the next day. And actually, it's funny because you do those things, and we've been doing this for 2 years now. I can honestly say the relationship with all of us is better between our kids, my relationship with my kids, our relationship together, learning how to live together. It's not something you're going to have to find your way. And you're going to have a lot of grace and you're going to have a lot of learning to do, but go with it. And it's beautiful. I think it's better now than it's ever been.
Mm-hmm. I love that. And Dan and I actually have a coach. And one of the things that she said, and I've heard it before, and it just really resonated. If you're talking about something or arguing or disagreeing, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? So a lot of times that's our go-to saying, like, all right, do I need to be right here or do we just need to be happy? And that's actually helped. So you've given a lot of great advice. So again, good. I'm sure we could do a whole podcast on that, but we have some more to cover.
Patty and I are here at Disney with our family, lots and lots of family.
Lots and lots.
And I think there's 15 total in the party, right?
Yeah.
15 total. And we went to the Frozen show the other day. And, what we're talking about just reminds me, and I think it's one of the best things that you can do. Let it go. Just let it go.
Singing again.
Whatever it is.
Are we going to start singing again?
No, if I sing twice, then the union's going to make us pay me.
Especially if you.
I got to tell you something funny, though. Our girls, we have a 4-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 7-year-old, so they're Frozen fans. Aww. But something really cool on our travels is we went to Mount Rainier on the most glorious, most perfect day ever in late August. And so we're climbing this hike with our kids. And my daughter, my 4-year-old, thinks that we are visiting Elsa's castle because you see the castle in the distance. You can't change her mind. Like, to her, that was better than any Disney trip or anything. Like, we were literally, and they sang the song the whole hike. They were like looking out for Elsa. It was amazing.
That's so cool. Now, I did promise, and I know people are asking this, and I know we're running sort of long on the podcast, not that it matters, but this is important. So I'm going to change gears here. And people want to know, and I know we talked a long time about it, but how do you guys afford this lifestyle? There are 10 of you, a dog and 6 puppies. Just want people to not forget that. How do you afford to do what you're doing?
You always forget the dog, though. There's 6 puppies, but the dog.
This time. I did say a dog and 6 puppies this time because there is also a dog. So can you tell, because listeners ask all the time, how do people afford it? What can we do to make more money? So can you share what you guys do and how you're managing that?
Well, if we share a whole story, we knew we wanted to do this. We knew we wanted a different life that involved traveling. I thought it would be Europe. Andre came up with the RV life, and we went with that, especially because of 2020 and all the craziness. So, and we will travel to Europe one day, but you have to kind of pre-plan. You got to go back. Don't feel like you're going to do this tomorrow. Maybe you can do it tomorrow. For us, we weren't like that. We had to transition from brick and mortar, clocking into a building to work, to doing something online. So for us, the answer came with network marketing. So we aligned with a company that we are very passionate about. We're super passionate about natural health and wellness. And I built this for about 3 years. So it took about 3 years for Andre to be able to quit his job and for us to sell our house, which gave us a little bit of buffer money. We bought our car for cash, put a loan on the RV because we wanted to keep sort of a cash flow, whatever credit line going. So we owe on the RV, we own the van cash. We had a little bit of buffer money, but literally we rely fully on this online business that we built. And I recommend it to everybody to kind of look on this online space. We teach teams how to build a personal brand online and how to do this thing called attraction marketing. And it's truly the business of the 21st century. It's where the world is going to right now. So for someone to kind of pick up, start a little business and kind of build it up in the nooks and crannies of your life and scale it up over time and learn the skill of being online, adding value to people. That's truly what we teach our teams to do. And it's been beautiful. Our team has grown over the last 2 years. So we rely on that 100% for our, that's our only paycheck is the business.
Yes.
And then we do YouTube, but that we don't monetize YouTube at all. We haven't really monetized our social media outside of this network marketing company that we belong to.
Okay.
And the beautiful thing about that is you scale it up.
Yeah, you do. And the best way to do that is what you just said, attraction marketing. Patty and I were in network marketing and we had a very large team, over 100,000 people on our team.
Incredible.
And Patty was the main trainer. And she tried to push people into just make friends. Stop selling.
Yes.
Stop selling and just make friends.
And again, there's a whole nother conversation there We're going to have them on 3 times next year to cover these topics.
Cover all the topics.
Because it is an amazing conversation. It's an amazing way for people to make money. You guys are able to take care of 10 people on the road, making money to do it. And I'm going to encourage people, if they want, they can reach out to you, your social media, ask questions on our social media, and I will put all that information in the show notes.
Now, one of the ways that we can afford to do this podcast and be on the road is with the Open Roads Fuel Card. Now, that has saved us so much money. We have a 40-foot Monaco, which is a diesel pusher that gets about 5 or 6 miles to the gallon.
You're getting real with yourself.
I'm getting very real with this. So 5 or 6 miles to the gallon is what it averages. We drive about 100,000 miles a year, which is a little silly. But, we started out in Las Vegas and we drove back to Pennsylvania to visit the family. We got to Pennsylvania, got a call back in Las Vegas that we had to be there for business. So boom, we're back in Las Vegas.
Wow.
So, it was in that first 3-month period that we drove back across the country, back again. And then what we said, well, let's pick up where we left off. So we left Vegas and we went back to the East Coast.
All RV people are crazy. All of them. We're just a different kind of, we just have 8 kids and 6 puppies and a dog. But you guys are also crazy.
It's a little crazy. And we've actually learned to slow down, in all honesty. Now, I will also say we are saving money on diesel. So I want to put that out to people. It is free to sign up for the Open Roads Fuel Card.
Patty, the listeners on my side of the room are asking, what is the Open Road Fuel Cards and how do you save money?
Okay.
And how much does it cost? That's all on you.
Let me get to that. So again, I'll put a link in the show notes for people.
Right.
All you do is you sign up. It is absolutely free. You attach your bank card. There is an app, so it'll show you the places you could go get diesel. We could take our 40-foot Monaco through these truck stops. We get diesel. It'll show you the cost. And then later you will get billed from Open Roads Fuel Card, different sponsor, and you'll see your savings. So it's so easy. They've done an amazing job. But I'm also excited because they just came out. We just received our toll pass. And this toll pass covers the whole country. So
all 48 states.
Toll pass? Do you guys have the toll pass, or do you go through and pay cash?
Do you know what? We had so much trouble in Florida with a sun pass, and then getting a sun pass, like a specific pass just for Florida. Then we left Florida. We're like, what are we going to do with this thing now? So that sounds like something we need.
We have the solution. So again, I think it costs like $25 for the year. And then you can use this pass everywhere. So we're getting rid of our Easy Pass and our Sun Pass, and we'll be able to use it everywhere in the country. I'm excited.
I just had a call with a director of marketing, and I'll tell you what they have put together is incredible. If for some reason you get a notification of a ticket, you never have to call SunPass again. You don't have to go through there. Press 1 for this, press 2 for this, press 4 for this. They will take care of all of it for you.
Wow.
It's a one-call solution if you have a violation or a toll or whatever. This covers our RV. It covers our tow car. And we can't be happier with it. It came in just a few days. And the instructions when it came were clear. They weren't like IKEA. They were clear. They were, you could see everything. So it is.
Wow. So, and again, they are sponsors, but we get excited about the people we are, connected to and our sponsors. Obviously, we love these products, services. So we get really excited there, but I think now it's time for our next break.
The fuel card, we have saved as much as 90 cents a gallon on diesel. 90 cents a gallon on diesel.
Now, I'm going to ask before we go to our next section, if you guys could stay with us. We do have a question. I'm not sure it applies to you guys, but will you stay with us for our closing section?
Absolutely.
Of course.
Great.
Now that horn means it's time for today's question of the week, brought to you by Clear 2O, your RV water solution. We all drink water.
Every day.
And you know what? It's so easy to drink clean, fresh water. And their new product, Tank Fresh, it cleans the tanks out like you couldn't believe. And they do it without using bleach in just about an hour.
For the freshwater tank, it's a gallon, so it's not a lot of lugging around. It's a gallon bottle. You pour it in, you leave it there for a couple hours, and it cleans it naturally. We've spoken with the creator, who's also the owner, and he's just another amazing person. We only deal with amazing people. That's why we have them on our podcast today. And this product really is great, as well as our filtration system, so no more lugging bottles of water.
Oh, yeah.
We love Clear 2O.
We really do love Clear 2O.
So now let me get to the question of the week. And this is from social media, Jeremiah P. from Prescott. It's actually pronounced Prescott, Arizona. And
I love it there.
He asked this question, and we keep getting this question in a lot of the groups. So I thought it was time to talk about it again on the podcast. And the question is, what is the best RV GPS when we travel in our large travel trailer?
He asked RV Safe GPS.
RV Safe GPS. Yeah, because you don't want just any GPS. You want to make sure you're safe in your RV. Yes.
Now, what do?
We use RV Trip Wizard. And RV Life is who owns RV Trip Wizard. RV Life is part of the RV Life podcast. But we have been using this trip planning and RV Safe GPS before we even got the RV. Dan's been playing with the different systems, the different plans that are out there. We have been using RV Trip Wizard for over 3 years, and it's not perfect. There's no perfect system. We'll be perfectly honest, but it is the best. So we know we are, we're going to go on a road that can take our height, our weight, our length, our size, all of that without a problem.
It is absolutely incredible. We don't move 1 inch without first consulting RV Trip Wizard. Now, I will say the same as you, Andre. We use a Garmin for my turn-to-turn directions. I like to have something in front of me. With a 40-foot RV and a 15-foot car that I'm towing, I like to know what's coming up. So I have my turn-to-turn on a Garmin 410, 420, something like that. But it's the one that will take all the RV measurements.
Right. But now we will say, so I hold the Trip Wizard turn by turn while he has the Garmin in front of him. We have an older unit, so we don't have the CarPlay. You can now use Trip Wizard on the CarPlay. The night before, we always compare the 2 directions. And again, Dan likes a big device so he could see it. More times than not, the RV Trip Wizard has been more accurate than the Garmin.
Yes.
So again, no device is perfect. Plan and double check, but RV Trip Wizard is the best. And we have a RV Life pro tip coming up, right?
By default, RV Life Trip Wizard creates an RV safe route, keeping you clear of any low clearances. If you want to see all of those low clearances on your map, choose the Research tab, then the Hazards tab, and click the low clearance icon. If you see a low clearance on the map that you think is on your route, remember to zoom in all the way. You'll find that the low clearance warning is typically on a side road or underpass that is not on your direct route. If you've properly entered your RV information, you won't be routed somewhere you shouldn't be. Seeing the low clearance warnings might be handy for routes you are considering but haven't mapped yet, or help explain why you're being routed a certain way on the map. With your RV Life Pro tip of the week, I'm Pat Buchanan.
Thank you so much, Pat Buchanan. And there's the dogs. It's funny because Patrick Buchanan, when we talk to him, he has 8 dogs. So we usually hear the dogs when we're talking. But thank you, Pat. Always great tips that help people navigate.
Andre, you've been on the road almost as long as we have. Tell me, have you ever gone down a road that you say, oh, shoot, I can't make it through there?
We have been in situations. It's never happened that I didn't go through a road, but sometimes I've been through a couple of roads where I thought, I don't want to go through this road. I wish I hadn't gone through this road. I've been on roads that went up. They were windy, and I didn't have the possibility I didn't know where the next turn was going to be. And it has been a bit scary, and I got wet fingers and wet hands, and I was cramping on the steering wheel.
Yeah.
We always made it safely, thankfully, but this is when we didn't use the GPS. We said, okay, we're going to go there and we want to see that. For example, last time was in the Great Smoky Mountains. We wanted to go hiking and we wanted to find the hiking trail, the trailhead. And it didn't say, okay, this is the small, tiny one-way road that goes steep uphill. And so we took our RV up on a huge ascent and tiny, narrow roads and windy roads, and it was not an awesome experience. It was not great, but we made it safely up and down, parked the RV somewhere else, and went back to our hike.
Wow, yes, and I think everybody's sort of been in that, and again, safe travel is important for us, and that's why we, have connected with RV Life and talk about RV Trip Wizard, because it's really made a difference for so many people. But a couple more things.
Let me just jump in here and say there's something that I didn't know before I started RVing, that there are roads that have restrictions on length. I never knew that. Mm-hmm. That, we were in Arizona, near Sonoma, Arizona, yes. And we were trying to get out of there. And the RV Trip Wizard told me that there is a restriction of 35 feet going up this hill. So that is... Yeah. That is something that you have to be aware of when you're an RVer. You have to know what your length is. You really have to be aware, because you can get yourself in some real sticky situations. Yeah. We met a couple and the guy said, if I wasn't a professional truck driver, there is no way I would have made it up this hill with our rig. So I think it's really important that you look at all of those things.
Yes, absolutely. And again, first of all, I want to thank you guys. But like I had said, there's so many things that I know that we could talk about just on 3 or 4 different topics. You guys have been amazing. For sure. We want to thank you for all your advice and comments and sharing the ups and the downs, and the kids in the background and the dog sharing is all part of the fun of it. And we can't thank you enough, and definitely we'll have to get you guys back on. Now, I do want to say, are you guys going to be in Tampa at the RV show?
We want to. I mean, we're in Florida, so
be there.
If we can get in, we'd love to be. Yes.
Okay. So
we need to cook together. We need to have we need to bring Dan and all this together and make a good meal.
Would be amazing.
I think we'd have a great time.
When we sit down, we're going to need hours and hours of time, because I know the 4 of us together will just be talking nonstop. Now, Dan and I will be in Tampa, so I hope you'll be there. It's the Tampa RV show. It's Tampa Super Show, it's called. And it is from January 17th to the 21st. It's 5 days. Dan and I will be broadcasting the podcast live. So it'll be in front of a live audience, and then anybody not there will hear it, over the next 3, 4, 5 Wednesdays.
Hey, Patty,
put out.
Where are we broadcasting live from?
I'm getting to the most important. There's so much here.
Well, they're not an advertiser.
Awesome. No, they're not. But we love Freightliner custom chassis. We love the people there. The president, Jeff Sather, he said he listens every single week. Jeff, thank you. And Dan and I they welcomed us into their booth again. And that's where we will be broadcasting the RV Life podcast from the Freightliner booth.
At 12:30.
At 12:30.
So if you're out there at the Tampa RV show and your feet are tired, because you've been walking around miles and miles looking at RVs.
And in the hot sun.
Come on in. It's in the shade. We have beautiful chairs.
Yep. Grab a snack.
Grab a snack and
sit and enjoy the RV Life podcast. If you want, you could ask a question. We'll get you on the podcast to ask a question. And Andre and Andrea, if you're going to be there, let us know. It'd be great to meet you face to face.
It
I
really
love
will.
it.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. You're listening to the RV Life Podcast. I'm Dan Hunt with my incredible wife, Patty Hunt, saying have a great rest of today.
And an even better day tomorrow.